30 seconds, gentlemen. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call this Tuesday, September 9th, Finance meeting to order. At this time, I will yield the floor to Chairman Keller.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. It's 5, so I don't, evening, afternoon, I don't know which is, it's still light out, so I don't know. So I'll just say good afternoon, evening. First item on our agenda is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk treasurer to accept the bid from Western Millwrights for the Russellville Municipal Airport and to enter an agreement with Western Millwright for the project. We present item 1, or wait, excuse me, I'm wrong night. I move we forward item 1 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Second. Is there any discussion on item 1? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 1 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Item 1 is forwarded. Item 2 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk treasurer to enter into a lease agreement with Sebridge Acquisitions LP, doing business as Optimum, for downtown upgrade conduit access and for other purposes. This is sponsored by Public Works and City Attorney Trey Smith. Move we forward item 2 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Second. Is there any discussion on item 2?
Yes. I'm assuming that we're going to have several of these for all of the pertinent utilities for downtown.
Have we not already entered into agreements with,
Sorry, could you please come up and...
yeah, Mr. Urbach, please come and state your name because we don't know who you are. I know we've entered into one at least.
Yeah, Don Erbach with Blackstone Construction. Blackstone is the construction manager for the downtown project. This will actually be the third one that we've entered into. We have an agreement with Entergy. We actually have a CIAC in place with them, longstanding. Brightspeed has one in place. This one is with Optimum, and then we'll have one more with Ritter when that gets finished up. And so we'll actually have 4 for occupancy in the lease agreement.
Is there a particular timeline as far as like when they're going to be able to move from cable to underground?
Yeah, so in fact, Entergy has made good speed getting into the duct run in El Paso. In fact, they're starting to energize portions of that down El Paso, so it'll take a little bit to get that hooked over. They're the big player on it, and they're their poles, so when their poles go away, the others are pretty much incentivized to get into the duct run. So we're hoping that Brightspeed, which I believe their construction will start once they get all of their permits from RDOT, because even though we've crossed the road and Entergy is crossing the road, each of the individual utilities has to get a permit from RDOT to cross. And so the other communications companies will do that too. So there's just a little bit of lag from when they get in. But now would be the best answer for everybody if we can get
Sure,
there.
absolutely, yeah. I'm very happy with the progress. It's just, there's just a few things here at the end that, like, you know, I get phone calls and messages from merchants and people downtown, and I'm sure everybody else does too. And I know that it's here at the end, and I don't want to lose the go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't think that is happening. In fact, I think there's been, I think the pace is actually quickened with some of these things in getting in. Entergy has done a very good job over the past couple of months as far as getting their assets in place. That had lagged a little bit, but they have are doing a good job with their work now. And hopefully we'll actually start to see some of these, the connectivity with some of the businesses on El Paso. We've got half a dozen or so businesses that will actually get connections that we will switch over from aerial to underground.
Cool.
And that'll be a good sign for us. And, again, that's a lot of coordination. We want to make sure the banks go without, shutting out the power for too long, and the same with communications, because communications, not only does it deal with commerce and businesses and individuals, but, things like 911 go over those lines as well, too. So we want to make sure there's good coordination when those are done. So there is a urgency, of course, but they also want to make sure that we're doing it with as little of, impact on the populace as possible.
I want to give a lot of credit to Dennis. That man has done a
Absolutely.
tremendous amount of work in
Yeah.
just basically handling everyone's concerns.
Yeah, talking
So,
about Dennis Overman, who
Yeah.
the progress in this program would not be nearly as I think satisfactory to so many people if Dennis weren't involved and doing a good job. He actually is the first line.
Yeah.
He's the guy who listens to all the complaints and is able to air them out. Some of them have to do with the downtown project, some of them don't. So, but yeah, he's been wonderful to have be part of the program. So.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions? Thank you, sir. Any further discussion on item 2? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 2 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Item 2 is forwarded. Item 3 is an appropriation from the Economic Development Capital Fund 27 in the sum of $57,895.80 to fund the Fire Station 2 parking lot improvements. I move that we forward item 3 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Is there any discussion on item 3? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 3 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Item 3 is forwarded. Item 7 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk treasurer to accept the bid from Western Millwrights for the Russellville part of the annual sidewalk maintenance program to install sidewalks and to enter into an agreement with Western Millwrights for said purposes. Move that we forward item 4 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Any discussion on item 4?
Yeah, which section is this?
It's multiple. Mr. Newman, would you come up and state your name and share? There's a lot of them. It's like maintenance all across the city. So
Oh, is this the patchwork stuff that's in any long runs?
That's correct. This is
Okay.
the maintenance budget item. So we have 8 locations identified throughout the city for this, with ADA compliance in a variety of locations. So if, in the packet, there should be the full disclosure of the plans. If you have any questions, I can definitely meet with you or go over anyone if there's any issues.
Gotcha. I was thinking it was a long run.
No,
That's the maintenance
absolutely.
one.
No, this is
Gotcha.
just our trying to keep up with what's been damaged over the years, trying to catch up with
Yeah.
all that.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, I didn't know if there was another one. That's
No.
what I was curious.
I think, I know, have we started engineers looking at Hilltop?
Yes, sir.
There
Yes, sir.
engineers are looking at Hilltop.
Contract is been executed, and we're in the planning stage. On what I'd ask for them on that is to identify, we gave them conceptual alignment. I wanted them to evaluate and make their recommendation. Then we'll set up a meeting with the public in that area to discuss it further.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
let's
West Main's looking good.
just say, let's just make sure we get that town hall information out.
Yes,
Yeah.
but once we get that back from the consultant on the alignment, we'll establish that, and however which way the best to get it out, we'll go to the media and potentially door-to-door with hangers on it, because we want the input of that community right along that corridor, because it is some significant vegetation and other items there. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Is there any further discussion on item 4? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 4 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye. Those opposed, say nay. Item 4 is forwarded. Item 5 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk treasurer to enter an agreement with Tabor tax back and for other purposes. This is submitted by Dr. Megan Selman of the Russellville Chamber of Commerce. Mayor, or I guess first, I move that we forward item 5 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Okay. Mayor, what can you tell us about item 5?
Mr. Steve Hauserman is going to approach. He is representative of the Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Alliance. He's the new economic development officer, I believe. We welcome him from our neighboring town, Clarksville, in Johnson County. We're excited to have him, but he's here to kind of share a little bit of story about this Tabor.
Sure. I appreciate the time to discuss this. This is pretty standard practice with the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. It's an incentive that is offered for a lot of large-scale development, and it is underpinned by job creation and capital investment in a community. The intention is to recruit business and retain or expand business. So what we're looking at is a tax-back program for the Tabor expansion, where they are beholden to creating X number of jobs with a capital investment figure, and you would forego the tax revenue on that expansion. And that gives them the upfront capital to make those improvements and to create those jobs. And I'd be happy to take any questions. Yeah.
Basically, what that looks like is they will pay the taxes up front, and then they will come back and they will file with the state of Arkansas for a rebate. So sometime a year from now, we're going to see a chunk of money come out of our sales tax revenues. Like a couple months ago, we had a $300,000 rebate hit us, and that was more than likely from Americold or Owens Corning or someone like that. So it's on their equipment and building expenses.
Yes,
So,
sir. That's right.
did I explain that right, Mr. Hausman?
Yes,
Did
sir.
I explain that
Yep,
right, Mr.
Very well,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Okay, so you say that they're going to get back X amount.
They get back their sales tax.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So they get back X amount for creating Y number of jobs. What approximately are you expecting to see as the amount coming back, and what is the number of jobs that would then be attached to that?
Absolutely. So the figure can be a variable. It can't be more than what the tax allocation would be for the capital investment, which in total is a $77 million capital investment that they're making, and they're required to create 73 jobs, and I believe that is at an average of $28 an hour, average hourly pay, excuse me. If they don't fulfill those, there's a mechanism for the state, the county, and the city, all three of those have to agree to this, to essentially collect those taxes back if they don't see the benefit. And that is a 5-year commitment that they make. They're obviously not going to receive more taxes back than the 77, but they could see less back depending on what their capital expenses are under that value.
The state has already agreed to this, and the county has already pushed this through the quorum court.
Yes, sir. Yep. Quorum Court's already approved it.
So 27,
73.
73, and
73
$28
jobs,
an hour for a yearly salary.
Yes, sir. That's the average pay for those
Okay.
jobs created.
How much is that? I'm sorry, I can't do the math in my brain.
Well, on a 40-hour week, that's, I'm slow here.
Should be a few $100,000, I would assume.
Well, I mean, not 40 times 28
Probably looking at
is
60, 70 maybe.
times 52. That's $58,000, $60,000 a year.
60
Now, they
per-
won't work, per employee,
For
yeah,
70
times
people, is what I'm saying.
73.
Yeah.
So that's $4.2 million worth of payroll. And they're probably not going to work 40-hour weeks. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a little over $4.25 million worth of payroll.
And for context, the payoff to the community is they're creating the jobs. The long-term benefit is those are long-lasting jobs. And you see that tax revenue come back through sales tax and things when those employees are, working and purchasing within the community.
Hey, Mayor, did you say there's other companies? You said Miracle does this?
Yeah, anything you've seen expand here lately. Maricold's done this, Owens Corning's done this.
And 5 years is the normal time
yeah,
span?
yeah.
Okay.
So,
5 years or the capital investment is matched. And I'll say this, I've done probably a dozen of these. I don't think in the state of Arkansas I've seen one fail. They're pretty common practice. Yeah.
And Tabor's a very solid, Tabor's been with us since the 70s. They're a very solid company, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to work on the math as well. I guess this wouldn't necessarily be, this would be a question to the mayor. I know you said that we had $300,000 come out of our tax recently, and we think it's from one of these things. Are we tracking this?
Or it could have been a combination. Well, you don't get the opportunity to track that necessarily.
Okay.
You don't have, when you go to DF&A, there's like, there was a combination of rebates and there's another word I'm looking for. I can't remember what it was. But so it'll tell you that it was from like so many different entities. It doesn't tell you who it's from. You don't have just like I can't go out and say Walmart paid this much sales tax. They don't give us those details. But and we have rebates on a monthly basis. We just so happens like 2 months ago, we had a $300,000 rebate. That's the largest one that I've had, that I've had hit us since I've been here in 1 month. And so, but those are those products that, the benefit far outweighs.
No. I agree with you on that. I was just wanting to, because we've had discussions here recently about sales tax going down, and
that was one of the
potential
reasons that
economic-
if you looked at that 2 months ago and you saw that decrease, that was one of those things that hit us. Actually, in your monthly report, it didn't show, but if you were looking on the what's it, citywide? What's the municipal league monthly magazine that shows our
City and Town.
city and
Or
town? Yeah,
and city.
if you look at their numbers and you notice we had a decrease there. That was because of that rebate. Now, when you looked at your monthly report, we had different revenues coming in from different streams that did not necessarily reflect that, if that makes sense.
Would it be possible to, I know that we entered one in with Tabor, I know that we entered one in with Corning. Is there anyone else that we have a tax back agreement with?
I think Americold was before my time, but I
Oh,
believe.
I'm sorry, this is Tabor. I mean, Americold and Corning,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Tabor would be the third.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do something when we do our budget this fall that we remember that we've got that.
Oh, yeah.
Those coming out.
And it'll probably be a year or so before
Yeah.
we see it. It'll be a year or so before we see it come out.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank
Is
you.
there any further discussion on item 5? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 5 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Item 5 is forwarded. Item 6 is an appropriation from the general fund carryover balance in the sum of $10,000 to cover the expense of the 215 East Circle Drive dilapidated house demolition. Move that we forward item 6 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Any discussion on item 6? So Mayor, the 215, is this wasn't the one that we entered the rehab agreement
No,
on?
this
Okay,
has been, Mr. Smith, this has been vacant for how many years? 8 to 10 years? It's been, we've been working through this and we could not find the owner, couldn't get any response at all. And so it was definitely a nuisance to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so it's already demolished. It's already demolished. It's already raised, so.
So this is, the 10,000 is to cover the expenses that have already
Yes.
been incurred?
There was already 15 in the budget, if I remember right. Five. I'm sorry, there was 5 budgeted, and it was 15 for the raising of the property. So yeah.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on item 6? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 6 to the full council with the recommendation of approval, please say aye. All those opposed say nay. Item 6 is forwarded. Item 7 is appropriation from the 2021 Sales Tax Capital Fund 7 in the sum of $166,863.70 to purchase extraction equipment for Rescue Unit 1 for the fire department. Move we forward item 7 to the full council with the recommendation of approval. Any discussion on item 7?
Yeah, Chief, would you mind coming up and tell us what this equipment is and what it will do for us?
So this will be the rescue equipment that we purchased for the rescue truck that you approved a couple months ago. So now we've already received it. because we bought it from that certain company with it having a part of it was refurbished. So this will be extrication equipment to run for extricating people out of vehicles. And it will also have trench rescue, shoring rescue, and all kinds of different rescue capabilities that we've never had ever in the city. So to just be to supplement that. So this will be all the equipment that goes to that vehicle. The extrication equipment will be available immediately. Some of this equipment takes a year to create, to make, and manufacture, and have it shipped out. So some of this we won't receive for up to a year. So, and then while I got you here, I talked to you about the cardiac monitors.
Yes.
And I talked to Miss Brittany about it. So we'll bring that to you probably next Thursday out of Fund 10 to replace all of our cardiac monitors. We got a couple coming end of life, but there's some new technology, there's some life-saving technology that exists with these new cardiac monitors, such as giving us the chance to do a 15 lead on a EKG instead of 12, which most places don't even have that, and we would have 15. A lot better technology, improved patient outcomes. So we feel that the whole point of this service is to get the best technology all the time and put that back in. So you'll probably get an email on that since it's not tonight. I just don't want it to be last minute for you, but it'll be on the next agenda. So for a 3-year payment plan for all new cardiac monitors out of Fund 10. So
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any further discussion on item 7? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 7 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Item 7 is forwarded. Item 8 is a discussion regarding the ownership of a strip of property immediately west of 417 East End Street. This is sponsored by Councilman Paul Gray. Mr. Gray, I yield the floor to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got a phone call, it's been 4 weeks ago or so, about an issue at a property with limbs falling on a house, and I went over and investigated it, and indeed there's a approximately 100-year-old tree over there, this disease that's dropping large limbs. And so I listened to Ms. Strevel, which I'm going to have her come talk to us in a second. I went to Mr. Trimble, I went to Mr. Wilson, then I sent an email to Mr. Smith to see if we could figure this out. I would encourage you, if you haven't scrolled down in your documents, to scroll down. It's a little over halfway down and get to this property, and you're going to see a property that is literally blacked out. And so Ms. Strevel has done her due diligence trying to figure out what this means. And she went to Barrett & Associates, and they said no one owns it. It's a no man's land. It's a 13.6-foot strip starting at the street, going back about 60 feet and ending at about a 20-foot. So it's this kind of almost triangular, well, not triangular. I didn't do well at geometry, trapezoidal, no, I don't know, whatever it is, piece of property that no one seems to own. And with the trees, if no one owns it, my question is, whose job is it it's hitting Ms. Strevel's house. She was trying to get with neighbors. So anyway, Mr. Wilson, if you'll come up first, I think you'll be the easiest one, and then I'll have Mr. Trimble talk, because I consulted with planning first, and basically he's going to tell you something pretty short and sweet.
Yeah. No, I've never seen anything like this. The survey literally had it was like black Sharpie scratched out over that strip of land. I want to say that was was it the early 2000s?
There was a 79 survey and a 2002. Mr. Trimble can speak more of the details probably of that, but it's literally markered out. It's very weird.
Yeah, never seen anything like that. I had heard a long time ago, I looked it up, I don't think this is actually the case, that any land unclaimed is managed by BLM, but I think that was for historical properties. But yeah, that's all I've ever seen.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Trimble, if you would approach and identify yourself for the record. Mr. Trimble was awesome. I probably kept him late that day, and I apologize to him that day for keeping him late, but he spent about an hour and a half looking at, will you just tell him all the things you looked through, utilities, right-of-ways, everything else?
So if you want, I've got it up here on the computer, the particular piece of property that they're talking about. It is between Duval subdivision and Parker Hill subdivision. And as Mr. Gray said, there is a strip of property there that for some reason, it was just left off. We have nothing in any of our data whatsoever that has in any other survey. I've both looked at the plats for Parker Hill and the plats for Duval subdivision. I've drawn them out. Both of them do not have that piece of property in it. So I as far as what we are concerned in the public works, again, nobody really owns that piece of property, so.
So one of your hypotheses, you had several trying to figure this out, was that perhaps the backing properties to the west once owned that, but there's no evidence of that.
So the only thing that I can think of that potentially may have happened is this was part of a bigger subdivision before it was split. During them splitting the subdivision up, they basically had made a mistake in surveying it, which, especially with that particular surveyor, we've got a lot of examples in the past, 50 years or so, where they have made some errors. That was especially before we saw a lot of GPS equipment being used, which was a lot more accurate than what they had back then. But basically what we saw was the split of those two subdivisions. It's like they almost forgot about it being there. They just got their numbers wrong.
Yeah, because it's actually the confluence of two old subdivisions and then creating a third. Is that correct?
No, it's one old subdivision that they split.
Okay, but we had the Parker Hill.
It was.
And then the Limley, there was something, and then.
Well, it was originally Limley subdivision, and then it was
Duval,
split
that
into
was what it
Duval
was.
and then Parker Hill.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So there are three subdivisions in part coming together there
Yeah,
historically.
It's messy, which in a lot of the older parts of Russellville, especially data that we have that's older than 50 years old, you do get a lot of messy surveys like this. So it's not something I've ever run into, but it certainly doesn't surprise me in that sense. So, but yeah, as far as our data right now for what we have in Russellville Public Works, there is no record of that property belonging to anybody.
Is this being resurveyed right now, or we're just going by the old survey?
I do not know if it's being resurveyed or not.
The last one
'cause
I
I
saw
see
was
this a lot.
2002, was the last that we could pull up
Yeah.
in your office.
Okay, because after GPS took over, we see this a lot in real estate where there's like odd pieces of land that aren't matched, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, the only way to ever fix it is the survey, but
But somebody usually owns it though, right? Even though it's messed up?
usually it's one of the, the
Yeah.
neighbor or hers, yeah, so.
Yeah, okay. Anybody got any more questions for Mr. Trimble? Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Strevel, would you like to come up? Ms. Strevel, this is, she'll introduce herself for the record, but she called me and I've been over and visited her house, and would you tell them what's happened, everything from the roof to the gas line or the gas meter and everything else?
Yeah, I'm Ramona Strevel. I live on 417 East End. It's my property, not this piece of property, but that's my house that's been damaged, not only once, but twice. The most recent one, it took out our gas meter. I mean, I'm so grateful we were home, because if it happened, we weren't there, no telling what. But, I mean,
So
they
there's
had
gas, gas was spraying everywhere. 'Cause it
yeah,
knocked it loose, yeah.
we heard this loud crash, and we just got home from the business expo, and I went outside, and I come around the corner, and I got hit in the face with the gas. Yeah, we had to call the fire department to come out, and it totally took out our gas meter. It was a big, huge limb. This tree is half dead. Half of it's dead, the other half isn't. The half that's dead is hanging over my property. It's already damaged my roof. We have $1,000 worth of damage done to it. I'm sitting there right now with a hole in the side of my roof. Miller Roofing came out and boxed it in to where nothing would get in my roof. But, I mean, I'm on disability. I can't afford to fix my roof. My insurance won't fix my roof because they said it's not my property.
Yeah, what did you had another tree service come out to give you an evaluation?
Yeah,
What
I
did
have
they
a
tell you?
paper
But they
here.
told you that they,
He told me the tree was dead. He says that it's got possibly termites, I forget what he called them, some kind of tree roaches. But he said, that tree is going to fall on your house, and when it falls, it's going to get my house and my neighbor's house.
but he also said, one of them couldn't even give you an estimate because he said, you don't own the property, so I can't
No,
evaluate
he said, one of them said, I can't even tell you. He said, I can't even step on that property because it's not yours, so. But my neighbor doesn't own the piece of property. I don't own the piece of property. Evidently, neither one of us has paid taxes on this piece of property, so it's not our properties. And we've had to, because these limbs are falling on where my daughter sleeps in this bedroom, so she can't even sleep in that bedroom anymore. She's scared. My granddaughter, she's scared to even be in that house, especially at night. You hear something fall, it's just, it's a lot.
And these are not small limbs. This tree is a 100-year-old oak tree. We're talking tree-sized limbs. So I'd invite everybody to go over and look at this anomaly. It's very strange.
Yeah, I've got a letter from the one tree guy. He, like I said, he didn't go on the property. He just looked at it and you can see the bark is falling off of it. It's rotten down here. It's got a hole going into the ground. There's 2 trees that are really bad. One of them's the worst. The second one, the first one out close to the road's not that bad. But I don't own those trees, and they've done damage to I just put a roof on my house 4 years ago, $10,000. And now I don't work anymore, so it's like, how am I supposed to fix my roof when this happens, I thought they belonged to my neighbor, and we even filed a claim with her insurance, and they came back and said, nope, she does not own that property. So.
And I did call insurance agents and talk to the mayor about it as well. And it's probably a lot of people know this, but it's when trees fall on stuff, that's between insurance companies. But we got one where she's got insurance, but we got things happening where there's nothing going on. So is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Street?
No, I just don't feel safe in my home anymore. Neither does my daughter or granddaughter. We just need to get this taken care of because I don't know what else to do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith, I know I emailed you about this. Do you have any legal advice for us, or anybody else got any questions about this?
That would be my question, Mr. Smith. How would you advise us?
I think you need to determine who the owner is by a title search before you do any act.
So you're saying we need to initiate a title search? Is that
so.
okay? So then we,
Well, as I understand it, Barrett and Associates did that for Ms. Strevel just out of courtesy. But yeah, we'll need to do a formal one. But
Yeah.
but they determined no one owned it, so we can't find an owner.
So
So if we,
go ahead, Mr.
I
Kelly.
was gonna say, if we do a formal title search and we come with the same, or we get the same information that this is a piece of property that no one owns, then what would you as the city attorney suggest we do, Mr. Smith?
I think I think it's hypothetical at this time, so we just need to wait for the title search. I think you're gonna show that whoever the dominant estate was when it was broken off, or they have it, and it'll probably show up that way, and it's gonna, basically, someone's gonna own it that doesn't realize they own it, is what I'm anticipating.
So that would be just to clarify, that would be like Mr. Eddie's firm? Like, would that be?
He can do that.
So Mr. Eddie can. So Ms. Baker, that would be covered under other professional services, would it not? Would you say that would where we would go, Mr. Smith? Okay, so would I don't need a motion, so I can just engage, Mr. Eddie's office tomorrow morning.
I've already got it started.
Oh, you've already got, okay, Mr. Smith has already got it, okay, we're good, okay. Thank you for doing that, Mr. Smith.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you've already
Yeah,
initiated
Mr.
the
Smith
title
has already
search?
engaged
Okay.
okay.
All right. Anybody else got any questions on that one?
Well, I do have,
Yield.
and I know you may not be able to answer this, Mr. Smith, because it's not, do we know how long, Ms. Skelton may know, how long does a title search normally take? Or,
I think she's said she's gonna have it back, probably, she's trying to have it back by next Thursday.
okay, good. Okay, so we could hopefully, that was my question, could we have the title search back by next Thursday's meeting?
She's trying.
Okay.
Hopefully, Ms. Strevel will have more information by next Thursday.
We meet back here on 5:30 on a week, or the Thursday, next
18th.
Thursday, excuse me. Okay, so everybody good with that? Moving forward with well, it's already in process. Thank you, sir.
So do we need to table this until Thursday then? Would that be the proper thing to do?
It's just a discussion. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, to stay on if we're hoping to have
Yeah, I'd
something
like
to
to
be able
stay
to talk
on
about.
the agenda.
Yep.
So whatever motion you need to make, or I need to make, or you need to make, you need to, it's finance.
So, I mean, can we,
So are you gonna table it, and what's it gonna be on for next Thursday, another discussion?
I guess, yeah, that's where we're at, yeah. So,
to forward the discussion of this issue to Thursday night's finance council meeting.
so that'd be a table? You move to table it until,
He said forward.
to you and a forward? Okay, so we're gonna,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, second. Any discussion on forwarding item 8 to next Thursday's finance agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 8 to the finance agenda next Thursday, please say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay. So item 8 is forwarded to the next Thursday finance agenda. Item 9 is a discussion.
Mr. Keller, I believe item 9 is removed. Am I right, yeah, we need
Okay.
to remove that. Mr.
Okay.
Duval.
Item 9 has been removed. Item 10 is discussion and consideration of an ordinance amending the city employee personnel policy and procedure manual to include city employee wellness benefits through recreational discounts. This was actually submitted by me. I'm going to move that we forward item 10 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Okay, just to go ahead and start the discussion on this. Looking for low-cost, no-cost ways that we are able to enhance the benefits that we offer the employees of the city of Russellville. I kind of looked at things that we had done in the past that we no longer do. One thing that the city did in years past, long time ago, was for various city amenities, there were discounts to city employees to be able to use those. And somewhere throughout the years, that program was discarded. And what I would like to do is bring that back. Everyone has the kind of the chart and the breakdown of the proposed discounts that are in this. They're all dealing with either at the Hickey Pool, the Hughes Center, or the Aquatic Center, or Pavilion Rental, at city parks. And I think that the benefits of these are, one, it supports the wellness of the city employees and their families, by increasing the cost of life for not only the individual that works for the city, but their families as well, by not only giving them something to do, but by giving them a way to increase their health and wellness through, these are all physical activities, whether it's the weight room at the Hughes Center or it's swimming at one of our 2 pools. Supports a work-life balance that will increase job satisfaction and morale of city employees, reducing burnout along with that. 3, would strengthen the connections that city employees and the city citizens and community at large have. The more times you have city employees that are out, and they're out at Hickey Pool or they're out at the city parks, you increase the connections that they're going to make with other people who live within our community. And then so when they meet someone who works at Public Works, it's not just as a random guy that works at Public Works that does stuff on the road. It's they met Glenn, or they met Gavin, or they met Junior, or they met anyone else down at the city, at the pool, or at while they were at a pavilion celebrating, their kids or their grandkids' birthday, which only increases that connection that the community has with, the city and the employees that work to serve them on a daily basis. It would act as a recruitment tool. City employees across the country are not paid what they would make in the private sector, typically. And we can't really do anything about the pay at the moment, but what we can do is we can offer something that is low cost to the city that would be seen as a benefit for our city employees, especially when you're talking about part-time and seasonal employees, which I know from personal experience, it's hard to find someone for those jobs. You got to find someone who wants a job, and you got to find someone who's okay with having a job, but it only being for a few months, or it only, it being for less than 40 hours a week. And that makes it difficult to fill those. But if you're able to have just one more recruitment arrow in in that recruitment quiver, then you're able to, hit that bullseye and filling those positions more easily. And the last thing is that it's revenue neutral. Like it's not going to cost the city anything. We're not paying for anything for anyone to be able to go and take part in those things. They're either as individuals going to have be able to go for free to swim or to go to the weight room, or for their family, they're still going to have to purchase a pass, but it would be at a discount. So at no point in time would this program cost the city anything, because it would all be done during normal operation hours. So there's not increased staffing that has to happen at any of these places. You're not opening up at extra times. It's just something that's just part of everyday operations that are going on. So we can take advantage of the fact that these things are happening anyway and allow our municipal workers to take advantage of those as well at a either free for themselves or at a discounted rate for their families. And if anyone has any questions. Okay.
We have an ordinance already made up because this was a past, it was already set up in the past? Or do we need to make a new ordinance?
So as I understand, the ordinance has been written, is that correct? Yeah, the ordinance has been written already. And so it went to the Personnel
It went to
Committee
personnel and
already, and it passed there.
pass to the full council.
And so because it does involve money, because someone would have to, pay for that, it has to come to the Finance Committee as well.
So do we need to make a motion to forward it to?
Full council.
I'll make a motion to forward to full council with recommendation for approval.
Second. Any further discussion on item 10? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 10 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Item 10 is forwarded. Item 11 is consideration of a resolution to accept the lowest responsible bid and to authorize the mayor and the city clerk treasurer to sign a construction agreement and associated paperwork with Bowden Specialties Incorporated for construction of the drainage system improvements on South Tampa Avenue and South Utica Avenue, sponsored by Public Works. Moving forward, item 11 to the full council with a recommendation of approval.
Second.
Any discussion on item 11? Hearing none, all those in favor of forwarding item 11 to the full council with a recommendation of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Item 11 is forwarded. Item 12 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk treasurer to execute an amendment to the agreement with Blackstone Construction LLC as construction manager to modify the downtown streetscape plan to improve traffic and pedestrian safety, to expand the project in a limited scope, and to add more drainage improvements for the project. This is sponsored by Public Works. Moving forward, item 12 of the full council with a recommendation of approval. Okay. Mr. Newman, what can you tell us about item 12?
Thank you for recommending forward to move this ahead. In your packet, we have numerous items as part of this amendment. And one of the items, the largest item, is the pavement repair and reconstruction in the downtown area. The number that we have in your packet right now was an engineer's estimate, so time was of the essence. We didn't want to delay and wait an additional month. We took bids today. We had 3 bidders, and the bids actually came in 10% below the estimate. So what we'd like to do, it may be a point of order, either to table and we can update the amendment to reflect the lower bids for next Thursday's meeting and have it on there, and we'll give you an update and allow city attorney the opportunity to update the resolution and attachment. We can provide those documents. So just to put that on the record, we did receive bids. There was 3 bidders, and very pleased with the results. It was lower than our bid document. As you're aware, the downtown project is ongoing. We've had discussion earlier about that today. Part of this amendment is, I won't say piggyback, but complements the Optima agreement. This portion, the lease agreement, is what you have seen earlier today. There's also part of this amendment is the actual undergrounding from them physically moving from above ground to underground, and that is part of the Blackstone project that they administer, coordinate, to install, have that installed with them. So that's one of the major items in the amendment also. So those are a variety of items that, because the project has been bid out in phases as we've gone through construction, there's been some adjustments with Entergy and some of the undergrounding, that these minor changes as some of that, and we do have some larger items as we talked about the roadway improvements and the Optima agreement. Part of this also includes adding 3 locations for food trucks near the depot, and portion of that with water and electric hookup in that section to be part of that in this amendment also. So we can go into detail. The write-up has some brief description. We have Mr. Erbach here with Blackstone if we have any questions on that. But this is essentially, as we've seen before, amendments to the downtown project. We never bid out or had the road design construction previously, and this is the major part of this, is that critical part, so we can continue moving. What we've been doing downtown so far on the final pieces you've seen, that's where we've done mill and overlay. But this portion, a lot of this is the actual reconstruction, because we've quilted out a lot of the road and we couldn't just patch it or just do an overlay. We need to do a full rebuild in some areas.
Is there any questions for Mr. Newman? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as requested, I'm moving we table item 12 to next Thursday's Finance Committee meeting. Any discussion on tabling item 12? All those in favor of tabling item 12 until next Thursday, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Item 12 is tabled. Mayor, that's the last item on our agenda, and I yield the floor back to you.
All right, we will adjourn for 5 minutes for a restroom break, and we will reconvene at 6:22. We are adjourned. 30 seconds, gentlemen. Will you step around the corner there and see if Mr. Keller's right there? All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, we're not recording yet. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you to Tuesday, September 9th, agenda prep. Mr. Gray, will you pull out your lottery and give us our three numbers for our prayer for Thursday? Ms. Skelton, he's getting his numbers. 30, is it 31?
Yeah, it's like 31.
31. 29 is number is 1.
18.
18.
And your final lottery ball is 4.
4. All right.
Or bingo, yeah, you can do bingo.
Are they really? I don't know. It's yeah. Maybe he's not really doing it. Maybe he's just giving. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. So, Kenneth, you got a second to come up and give us a Public Works update? Lots of stuff going on with Public Works. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so I think y'all have probably been out on West Main and see the sidewalk is progressing. They started at Carthage Lane, I think is what it's called, and they're already up close to Austin Circle. So it's moving pretty good. So we hadn't ran into any issues or anything. Okay, the soccer parking lot, I was told it's about 50% complete.
It's looking good. I was out
Yeah,
there. The soccer complex was looking amazing today.
So that's coming on along. And Waterloo 2nd Street project, we're still waiting on some utilities to be moved. And we we call them quite often, but it's just taking a while.
Which company are we waiting on?
Glenn, which companies are waiting? Is it the Brightspeed? Yeah, I knew Brightspeed, but I couldn't think of the other two.
Sounds like it's going to be slow to get those permits to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
But we're calling them weekly, trying to make things move, and
Okay.
we're just running into roadblocks, I guess you could say. Okay, give you a quick update on Prairie Creek. All the structures on North El Paso, they're gone. I don't know if you've been down through there. And there was a couple buildings between Arkansas and Commerce. They are also gone. That's kind of where we at right now. So I know in the ditch, they're on the far end, and they have done a little work in the ditch, but they're just really getting started there. And that's it. That's all I got, unless y'all got some questions.
We did get the bid on the electrical for the parking lot right there between
Yes.
Commerce and
Yes.
Arkansas today. So
Yes.
we are ready to move in the next 2 to 3 weeks. You'll be seeing your parking lot begin there north of the railroad tracks for downtown parking.
We hope even sooner, maybe. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's coming. So.
lots of good stuff.
Oh yeah, lots of work we got coming up, as y'all know. So.
Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Gray will have something this week. Mr. Keller will also. All right, so item 1 this week will be consideration, it's old business, of a resolution for us to sign a agreement with Russellville Playhouse. Russellville Playhouse did submit their articles of incorporation this week, and so we do have that. Mr. Smith, you will have a contract in the next day or so that we will be able to present. We can send that to Mr. Pistone, and you'll be able to send that out to the council with that, and then.
Hang on, I got something from Mr. Smith.
Oh, did you send it out already, sir?
I sent it to Gina, and she forwarded it.
Oh, I guess it was early today when I
Okay,
checked my email.
because there's some things on there that I don't remember us agreeing to, or, so,
Which one was it?
well, like, for example, the action of month 1 and 1 through 6 was install a new roof. We
Oh,
didn't,
that should have been removed. Yeah, that was, I'd requested that be removed, yeah.
okay, well, that's in here, what I got this like 30 minutes before the council meeting.
Oh, Mr. Smith says he struck that, because I saw that, and I stated that was not agreed upon, so.
Okay, well, when will we see, because I know the Playhouse people are going to want to see
Yeah.
this as well.
Oh, here, let me forward this right now. I didn't see you resend it for me.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you did not get the most updated, okay, yes.
I'm sending it to you now, Paul.
Well, I mean, it's a little late to read.
Oh,
Takes
yeah,
a while
no.
to read.
But that
so-
was there something else you saw that
Well,
was the issue that I
well,
felt like Exhibit B was wrong?
Mr.
in the-
Pistone, would you come up, because I think because I forwarded him what I saw, I just took some screenshots of Exhibit B, and he said, no, wait a minute, that's not what so anyway.
Yeah, it's John Pistone with Russellville Playhouse again. How you guys doing? Good to see you. Starting to get really old using these. So yeah, obviously the first one was that. The second one was, it says that complete all required repairs and renovations and construction within 18 months. I thought that was any necessary to get a certificate of occupancy. So it's just a matter of the wording seems it's different than what we'd agreed to. We're also curious as to the solicitation of, if there's anything over $42,000 spent that we raised, that we have to, for work of $42,000, we have to solicit bids.
Well, if it's an individual item, if there's an individual, that's a state law that any city property,
Okay.
if we go out to bid on anything, an individual item over 42.5, we have to solicit bids, so. And so I don't know that that's ever going to hit you.
Well,
I
if
don't
we
know.
have to get a new roof.
If you had to
it's
get a
looking
new
about
roof, then you would get
$46,000.
three quotes, yeah. It's simple as getting
Okay.
3 quotes, yeah, it's not.
I just didn't know if we were the ones raising money, why we would have to
Yeah,
solicit
because it's a
bids,
city
but
property, even
Okay.
though you're still, it's still a city property, and we're required to do that by law.
And then, of course, there's also the breach of contract is still the same. I thought we had discussed that. We don't know what the lease agreement is, and so this Exhibit B is all we've got a copy of. And if we sign this, it's saying we are agreeing to a lease agreement that we haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay, so when Mr. Smith, I believe he just completed it, and so I will send you the complete contract when I get the complete contract back with, when he struck out the new roof. Yeah, that was the thing that I saw that was definitely not agreed upon. And so when I get that, I will forward the complete contract to you, and then you can look at that.
Okay, and then also, like I said, just the wording of the second point in that, in terms of the 13 to 18 month, to any and all repairs that are necessary to get our occupancy license.
Right, but the deadline says at the end of the 18th month, which is what I heard at that meeting. Complete all necessary repairs.
But you don't have the word necessary in there, you have all repairs. That could be a list of a million minor things that we don't know about. We would just like the term necessary to be put in there, to get an occupancy license, that way.
Yeah, but if you read it in conjunction with to receive a certificate of occupancy, anything that doesn't require that will not be repaired.
Is that a problem, putting the word necessary in there?
I think it reads this fine the way it is. All repairs, all
Required and
repairs-
necessary, it doesn't say to receive an occupancy license, it says,
Yes, it does.
Okay.
to receive a certificate of occupancy, a C of O. If there's repair that is not needed for certificate of occupancy, you don't have to do it.
Okay, it just didn't read that way to us, so I'm wondering what the difference with putting necessary in there is.
You just
So we
have me
could.
You have me on tape now that says that you don't have to do it if it doesn't relate to a certificate of occupancy within 18 months.
Okay. That's fine.
All right.
All right, so I should have that contract tomorrow, and well, actually I have it now, so I'll look it over and make sure it does say, and then I'll forward that to you. And then, Miss, did you send that to full council? Yeah, so full council has that also. And so that'll be your item one that you'll be looking at on, old business. Or, yeah, that is old business, so, okay. No, that's finance, yeah, that's finance, I'm sorry, yeah, sorry. All right, Keller, thanks for pointing that out. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Stoney.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, unfinished old business, consideration of an ordinance amending the physical code for the city of Russellville, Arkansas, adopted by ordinance number 2520 by amending the fixed assets inventory to increase the minimum limits threshold from 25 to 5,000. We've talked about that. And then unfinished old business consideration, this will be the third and final reading on that. Item 2 is consideration of an ordinance amending the fiscal code of the city of Russellville, Arkansas, adopted by ordinance 2520 by establishing a process to remove fixed assets that depreciate below the minimum threshold within the fixed asset inventory. This is also going to be the third and final reading on that item. Let me get this over here. And then new business will be consideration of an ordinance amending the current zoning code for the city of Russellville, Arkansas, adopted by ordinance 2443 and for other purposes, sponsored by Planning Commission. This is requesting a read one time only with emergency clause. Mr. Wilson, can you approach and give us an update in what we're talking about here?
Yes, I can, absolutely. So for this quarter's long-range planning committee changes to the zoning code, it's kind of a grab bag. We made a update to specifically a reference to another article. That's the first change there, Article 6.1.51A2. That was originally referencing an article that had nothing to do with that, so we corrected that. The next change, that was Article 6.1.72. We were trying to make a kind of common sense change with gravel lots specifically. At the recommendation of the Planning Commission, we did change the edit that we submitted. Instead of changing some of the requirements, we changed it to adding another section. That's essentially gravel lots shall be permitted when screened from public areas and public streets by a minimum of a 3.5 foot tall or maximum 6 foot tall ornamental fence, wall, or hedge. The change there was essentially to prevent a loophole from the original change proposed to the Planning Commission.
What I was looking at, I don't want you to have to read all of them, but
No, sure.
I was trying to figure out why we were going to read one time only with emergency
Oh,
clause.
yes. Sorry. Yeah, I guess that's the more important one, isn't it? We are making a change to the table of permitted uses for daycare family homes. Family home daycares are allowed to operate as a residential home daycare, but at a higher capacity. The family home daycare is currently not permitted at all in R1 single-family home residential zones. We are proposing to change that to a permissible via special use. That was the invocation of the emergency clause was requested by Miss Stuber, who is here. She would like to speak if given the opportunity. Basically, she had purchased a property that was operating as a family home child care facility that was likely operating outside of compliance with the city zoning code. And so she's trying to kind of get her business back to where she's hoping that it can be. So I would...
Ms. Stuber, if you would like to approach the microphone and please state your name for those at home that are watching.
Good evening. My name is Shelby Stuber, and I am the owner of Sissy's Corner. I have done my business for the past 2 years.
Move that microphone a little bit closer to you. So,
Sorry.
Okay,
Is
no
that
problem,
better?
no problem.
Okay. And I've been blessed to operate this for the past 2 years. This journey is very personal for me. Last September, me and my husband welcomed our baby girl, and she quickly became our Y. So I wanted to be home with her while also providing safe and reliable care for other families in our community. When we bought our home, we believed in good faith that I could continue operating just as the previous owner had. Learning that I couldn't was difficult, and not only for me, but the families that I serve. Still, I see this as an opportunity to look at codes that may no longer fit today's needs and consider solutions that truly strengthen our community. This isn't just about me, it's about dozens of families in Russellville depending on childcare. Without enough providers, parents can't work, businesses struggles, and ultimately our whole community feels the impact. Allowing family home daycares under a special use permit would give families more options while still ensuring providers are accountable through oversight. I'm here tonight simply to ask for your support in updating the R1 use table to allow family home daycares by special use permit. This change would give families more choices, help parents stay in the workforce, and keep children safe and nurturing environments. I love Russellville, and I want to continue serving the families who call it home. Thank you for your time, and in consideration this request on behalf of my families that I serve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson, so basically by special use permit, you're just going to be able, you'll place a sign out there in the neighborhood and any neighborhood concerns, which I doubt there will be any neighborhood concerns because it's been operating for so many years, which is our hope. And then, but in future, that's the way you would handle that.
That is correct.
That's okay.
Yes.
Because I noticed, I remember when we were doing the walkable neighborhood that a daycare was actually allowed in a walkable neighborhood,
sounds
permitted in not walkable neighborhood. So it's just kind of surprised me that it was not allowed in an R1.
Yeah.
So, okay.
What's the location of this?
This is in the North City Spur, just south of the Dover, Russellville city limits. I think
Oh, okay,
it
yeah.
might be a
That's a Dover
block
Sonic.
south of that Sonic.
Oh,
up
you're right
there.
on Highway 7, right before. Okay, yeah,
Do we have an ad?
Yeah.
Do we have an address?
yeah. It's been a
59 what?
daycare forever.
Thank you.
What is the capacity for a house daycare?
So there's two kinds. There's a residential home daycare and a family home daycare. Residential home daycare, I believe the max capacity is 5 or 6, I want to say. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the last planning commission, we were able to get her set up as a commercial child care facility via special use. She has since moved out of the premises and is so operating at that, I believe, 16, 15 children?
I only have 7 now.
Oh, okay.
I had to wait
Yes.
on license.
Right. So the goal was to get her back to the operating capacity that she was expecting when she purchased the property. Family home child care facilities allow for that capacity while also providing the same use as a residential home daycare, which is residing in the home.
Okay.
Is she currently able to operate right now, or is this, like, or is she waiting for us to vote on this, or is she shut down right now?
So currently, I can only do my minimum.
7.
I have 7 right now because you can have as many as you're related to, and so I'm related to 7 somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that way.
Yeah.
However, if I want to go back to my 12, I do have to get licensed, and then I have to have my employees. I already have employees, but to get licensed, I have to have that zoning application approved, and so that's where the emergency clause falls in. So once I get that, then I can open back up to my 12 back.
So just so you guys know, this is where my child went to daycare there before she purchased it, and it's the perfect place for a in-home daycare.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I
I
totally
agree.
understand why you bought it, thinking you were on the good, because
Yeah.
my kid definitely went there for multiple years.
Yes.
I also thought it was zoned correctly, so.
All right.
Not a tough-
Okay, so that's what will be. Any more discussion on that? Will
Yeah,
be.
Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
Question too, yeah.
Do what, sir?
Go ahead.
So when the special use permit, when she's permitted for the higher amount.
Currently?
No, when you go back to what you were before, so if you get that special permit, a special use permit, it's for that amount? Or if you expand again, that would have to come back for another special use permit, or?
So currently, she got approved for the commercial childcare facility. She would come back and reapply for the new special use permit for the family home daycare. But we were hoping to kind of go in and waive fees for that, since she's trying to.
Yeah,
go
no,
through the
I got no
process.
problem with that.
Yeah.
I was on the council 25 years ago and have some PTSD from childcare things, and I want to make sure we do everything right.
Absolutely.
And make sure everyone is, because we do need affordable, reliable childcare, and
Quality.
And it gets it gets contentious, when you're in neighborhoods and all that. So I think this is great, but I just want to make sure we dot all our I's and cross all our T's.
Absolutely.
That was my concern with the long-term planning commission meeting, was there seemed to be some animus towards allowing R1 zone childcare facilities, which for many of us who have had small children recently, all of the childcare facilities that I know of are in R1 zoned areas.
Yeah,
So
that's what happened before.
I would like for this, we need to take care of. Let's do that. But I don't necessarily want this to just be, we got to get a special use permit. I think we should prepare because this is the way child care is done, right? And, especially in our community. And so it was just disheartening to me to hear at the meeting that there was a lot of negative commentary on this issue, because obviously those people hadn't had kids taken care of by someone in a residential area before. So I think that if we can go beyond the special use permit, maybe look at ways that we could do that, I would appreciate it.
I'd be more than happy to bring that to the long range.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Gavin, right now, if someone applies for that, do they have to fill out a full application? Do you guys have to go approve the property? Because, as much as I love it too, I want to make sure they're safe and they're,
Absolutely. So we do defer to the state licensing body for
Okay.
child care facilities. We do follow what the zoning code says, but functionally the zoning code it just has to do with the externalities of the property. I would also probably ask fire and building safety as well. I assumed that was all part of the permitting process for early child care facilities in Arkansas. I didn't get super familiar with that.
which
aspect.
I know that one's fine. I just, going forward.
No, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
kind of scary. You don't want everybody to just.
I know
Sure
I know a full-blown daycare does get inspected by fire building safety, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. You're just trying to do things legal, and we appreciate that. Thank you for your efforts, and hopefully we can make that right. All right, thank you, Mr. Wilson, if
Yes,
everybody's
sir.
done.
No,
Thank y'all.
I've got.
Oh, no, okay,
Yes.
no.
No, it couldn't.
It's
It
okay.
couldn't be easy.
Couldn't resist, okay. All right, item 2 is going to be consideration of an ordinance amending the license.
No. I got something for that one.
You do have something? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were joking, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry,
don't-
Keller.
No. So this is something that I brought up at the planning commission. It's item 6.1.72.
Yes.
The screening of off-street parking for vehicle storage on gravel lots.
Yes.
The proposed change would go from a 6-foot fence with screening to an ornamental fence of some kind, anywhere between 3.5 and 5
Yes.
feet. The entire point of, you know where I'm going, so
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so, but no one else here does. The entire point of that was to, if you were going to have vehicles and other things stored behind, a shop or so on and so forth, that it wouldn't be, potentially an eyesore for the other buildings around it. That's one thing that we've done with other. Was a requirement that we had for folks putting up fences and coming in and wanting to have gravel storage behind their business before this became just part of the code. And so it troubles me that now we want to go back and and undo what the entire point of it was to be sight obscuring for vehicles being stored on a gravel lot behind the business. There already is a workaround that a business can use to not have to have that, and that's they can pave their lot. But if they want to just have a gravel lot, then they had to put an obscuring fence so that their neighbors wouldn't have to just see a bunch of cars being stored behind the business. And so it kind of bothers me that we're looking at changing the code to undo something that was a fix in the code when we originally adopted it.
I completely understood, and I was poised to agree with you at the Planning Commission as well. We did, I don't know if the update got to everyone. Staff decided to remove that change to the section 2, so 6.1.72. We decided to add a third section instead of modify the second section at all. And it reads as gravel lots shall be permitted when screened from public areas and public streets by a minimum 3.5 foot tall or maximum 6 foot tall ornamental fence, wall, or hedge. Specifically because the abutting residential verbiage in the section 2, it was our belief that the intent of that was to do exactly what you were just speaking to, which is screen residential uses from vehicle storage lots, impound lots that are using gravel vehicle storage lots.
Yeah, but like I mentioned at the Planning Commission, the one specific instance that I can recall very clearly was a shop that was going to be storing vehicles in their gravel lot behind the shop where they were working on them, and we required them to have a screen for the other businesses, including I believe it was there was a hotel, there's a church, and then there were a couple other businesses that were surrounding it. So it wasn't just the residential, which you said we already have to have. So I just don't understand what has changed in us seeing the wisdom of screening that for the neighbors of a lot then, but is no longer a wise move now.
We have had several prospective businesses approach the planning department, specifically ready to sell mobile home and vehicle businesses that have kind of balked at coming to Russellville because of our gravel screening requirements. We were looking for a solution that kind of was kind of a halfway agreement, kind of a compromise, in order to bring some of those, or give those businesses the support that they felt like they were looking for. If it is the will of the council, though, we're certainly not married to this change. We're willing to make any edits that are recommended or not include that in the zoning code changes.
I mean, I'd love to see businesses come to our community and set up and offer their goods and employ our citizens and whatnot. But I don't necessarily like the idea of we'll come if you change your standards for us, as opposed to we're going to live up to the standards that you set forth for your community.
Sure.
I will say some of the situations that Mr. Wilson's talking about are not so desirable properties that people are not looking to come to, and then we're asking them to make investments into a property that it's hard to get that ROI out of in some of the situations. Or there's one of the things that I get frustrated with is there's a business that I drive by every week going to Dover, and I look right over the screened fence at the gravel parking lot. And I made that business owner, prior to me coming, we made that business owner screen a fence that does not block anything at all. And so I agree with you, Mr. Keller, but I also agree that some of it is at some point it is a little bit hard. And like I say, I don't get a vote up here. I don't get a vote, but I do know some of the properties, and I get the business owners coming to me, and it's hard for them to put some money into a situation when they're trying to get an ROI, they're trying to bring jobs in. So I think there's both sides, and I know you're as good as anybody about seeing that, as Mr. Keller.
But don't they already have the ability to go to Board of Adjustments to ask for a variance on that?
That's what I was going to ask. Can you get a variance? Is this something you can get a variance for? If it's a property
so it's a case by case basis. So if
Right.
so if it's someplace where the fence isn't going to actually do what it is that we're trying to do with this, then okay, well we can give a variance through the Board of Adjustments mechanism that's already in place, as opposed to, well,
Is that
there
allowed
are
by
other
variance?
places.
It is okay.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
So, like, I'm just leery of changing the code to fix a problem that we already have a mechanism to fix.
So would you like planning to strike that?
Well, that's another question. I don't necessarily
does
know
that have
from
to go back through Planning
Like,
Commission?
that's the thing, is that when the Planning Commission forwarded, this third item wasn't on there. So when the Planning
Oh, yeah.
Commission forwarded it, there was only the change to 6172. This 6173 that's completely new.
Correct.
Was not part of what
So
was
it can't
forwarded
go because it hasn't gone through
by
Planning.
the Planning Commission.
Okay.
We did make the change. I guess I'm not sure how the parliamentary process should go. We did make the change at Planning Commission's request. I don't know if that's supposed to go back to Planning Commission.
What
or
recommendation did they?
It is
to
Mr. Smith.
work on that. To work on that edit.
To work on it or send it to the council for approval?
When we talked about it, because I'm the liaison to planning, when we talked about it last Thursday, we had talked about we were going to forward it to the council. We were going to have 3 months, because it's an ordinance, we were going to have 3 months to be able to talk about the language on it.
Okay.
Now, since then, it's now changed to, well, we're wanting to do it one time
So
with
does it
the
need to go back
emergency
to the
clause.
It needs to go back to planning.
But I don't want to do
Right.
something that's unrelated to, so what I would say is I would like to see the amendments to 617 struck from item 1 that's brought to us,
We would be fine with that.
and everything else remain the same so that we can move forward on those other amendments to the code, which would keep y'all moving forward, would keep the other things in there, but would allow us to look at the side obscuring fence issue a little bit longer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally good.
Okay, so that sounds good. So we can make that. Okay.
So,
Yeah. So,
do I
Mr. Wilson,
need
if
to-
you will update that tomorrow morning, get that to Mr. Smith
So-
and Ms. Skelton, and that way
to
we
make it
can.
to make it official, do I need to make a
No,
motion for that?
there's not I don't think it's a motion because we're just at agenda prep,
Okay.
so.
I'm just-
I mean, as long as I think as long as he
Well, like
brings
the 7 other people up here could say, no, we don't want to do that.
Well,
So, I
okay,
mean,
okay,
like,
well, is anybody have any discussion on that? So. There's only 6 other people up
There's
here.
6,
so-
sorry,
I'm
excuse
just
me.
kidding. No.
Seth's here in spirit.
Yeah. Okay, so does anybody have any issues with that? Okay, all right. Everybody seems to be in agreement with that, so. Mr. Gray, are you?
Yeah, no, I just have an announcement I need to make, so I didn't want you to close business till I had a chance to.
Oh, I've got one more.
Okay.
I got item 2. Item 2 will be consideration of ordinance amending land subdivision code development for the city of Russellville adopted by ordinance 2444. And for other purposes, you want to throw anything out there, not an itemized list? But
I mean, this is essentially, it is a change to the land subdivision development code to require floodplains to be represented on final plats that are done.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, Mr. Gray.
Yeah, quick announcement for the council. We yesterday closed applications for the youth council. You can see we're missing our guys out there. We have 39 applicants, which is the most we've ever had. So I just need a little advice going forward. I haven't checked their addresses. Usually there's 2 or 3 that don't live in city limits and are not eligible. But last time we just wound up taking them all. But we had a little bit better organization when we had a a youth council mayor and a youth council vice mayor, and they kind of police themselves, and I think it went really well last year. But I just need to know what y'all think. That's 39, if they all decide to go.
Did we, I dropped the ball on that somehow. I had told Premier that I wanted to give them an opportunity, and also Valley.
I sent stuff to both and got no reply.
Okay, I'm trying to because I know they both told me that they wanted to be part of that, so I'm trying to figure out who may have dropped the ball on their end. So.
Yeah, I sent one to Premier. They've got a email thing to the principal or whoever runs the school, and never got a response.
Okay.
So I did try, and I reached out to the junior high too, because ninth graders are eligible, and got no response from Russell Junior High. So.
All right.
So because that's gonna, me and Gina and the mayor usually put together that reception thing. That's a lot of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it is a lot of Chick-fil-A. So please send both of those emails to me that you sent to those other entities to cover me, and show that we did reach out.
I'll go.
It should be in your sent box.
Except the one for Premier is not. It's a form you fill out when you go to contact them. It's a form. So there's. I filled it out. But,
okay. All right. No problem.
So
all right. Anything else for the good of the group?
Do you need help going through those? Do you need?
Well, I can make a first pass and see how many don't live in the city limits, because that always happens. But still, even if it's only 10%, that's
still a lot. No.
We had, last year was like, when it was all said and done, I think we had 18, and we just took them all. The year before, it was like 20-something, and we took all them, but that was just a trial. 3-month, 4-month thing we did. So.
Anyone have anything?
If you're going to need some help on looking at those after you make that first pass, especially if we're going to look and give these other two schools an opportunity to come in, if we're going to need to go through and like rank them or whatever, it may be good to have a work session that last week of September.
Well, traditionally we seat them at the next meeting. Yeah, so that's I'm not in favor of redoubling efforts and going back and asking people that have already been asked. We're pretty much there. I mean, as far as our timeline. Now, if we want to put the youth council off for another month, but that's kind of also not fair, because I made all these kids that responded, September 8th was the deadline, and they met that deadline, so.
Could you just let like the juniors and seniors come and everybody else is still in?
What's that?
If you just had like just the juniors and seniors came, but everybody was in the club.
Oh. Well, we could. The only thing about leaving out sophomores is someone with a lot of experience, spent my life doing this, that's where you build your capacity, is the lower level, you get that sophomore on the football team and play some JV games, and then all of a sudden they're a starter the next year, so I'm okay. If that's what y'all want to do, I will definitely do that. But I think having sophomores in here is what really built, and ninth graders too. I just really tried to get ninth graders, but I couldn't even get that to happen. So. Well, it's just 39 39 was a little bit of a surprise when I looked at the responses last night. I went, wow.
All right. So.
Yeah, we could fill the place up. Have a full gallery.
Can we talk about? You guys want to talk about that and try to? If you want to have a meeting, we can address it.
Tell you what, you contact me if you would like to go through applications. I'll give you access to the form.
All right. For lack of a better word, let's be adjourned. Thank you.